There's the grid then for you on screen. 9-lap race this, qualifying heat number 1 for the Rotax DD2s, and Frank Katchar on pole position. You'll hear from Frank later on in the day. He wasn't quite as narrow his margin of victory in the qualifying session as it was in seniors. So Jess Batman got pole position in seniors by 1/1000th of a second, but Frank Katchar was 17,000ths of a second clear of Konstantin Scholl, who starts second on the grid. Row 2, Janis Slavinsky from Poland and Villevalainen from Finland. And then row 3, Kevin Ludi, second in the championship at the moment, the Swiss driver, and Cosimo Durante has been one to watch this weekend, the Italian. Row 4, Bruno Bollido from Portugal, Mick Vishofer from Austria to complete the top 10, the Spanish driver Oriol Damo Caballero, and another Spaniard, Raul Abascal Lavin. Top Masters driver yesterday was Slavomir Muransky for the drivers aged 32 and above, who have their own subcategory. Martin Pearce is alongside him on the 6th row of the grid, though. And Martin, in all of the practice sessions yesterday, was utterly dominant, but it came to qualifying, and Muransky somehow found a magnificent lap, and by 1/1000th of a second became the best Masters qualifier. So that was a very tight situation as well. 1 or 2 drivers, though, with work to do here, not as high up the grid as you would expect. And one of them is the driver that is right up there in 6th place in the championship, Barry Pullinger, only on the 8th row of the grid. Barry's mom has phoned in to wish him luck. We'll read that out a couple of times as well when we get a bit more time later on, because they'll hear us trackside as well. They get the same commentary at the track as you do at Telly Monday. But thanks for getting in touch. Good luck to Barry Pullinger from Mom, watching back home this weekend. And Barry, I'm sure, is a driver capable of coming through the order. Lucas Bartosuk is another driver a long way down the order. He's the championship leader, but he is even further back than Barry. He's right behind him, in fact, on the 9th row of the grid. So watch for number 644, Lucas Bartosuk. He's won a race this year. He finished second in the other. He's the championship leader on 170 points. Kevin Ludi with an opportunity to close the gap, though. He's only 2 points behind coming into this weekend on 168, and much higher up the grid for these heats. Frank Katchar, despite not having that much good luck this year so far, is still third in the championship, and the defending champion leading them round now on pole position. So there he is with the red and black suit, the Hungarian racing this year for the VPDR team. There with the blue and white suit and the yellow helmet, number 611, Konstantin Scholl, who lines up alongside him. And 658 is Janis Slavinsky there with the reddish and blue helmet, the white helmet of Villevalainen, quickest in a couple of the practice sessions. The Finnish driver is on the outside of row 2. And 609 is one to watch here. Kevin Ludi has had a win and a second so far this year as well, and that's why he's right behind Bartosuk in the championship standings. So here they come, ready for 9 laps of racing. Heat number 1 for DD2, the 2-speed gearbox karts, the quickest here this weekend. It's a bit spread out on the start, but they're going to let it go. So away they rocket, and Frank Katchar is going to be miles in front by the time they get to turn 2. I think it's Villevalainen who's made a good start to go second, even though he's on the outside row. Is it? No, it's Scholl. It's Scholl with the yellow helmet. And then Villevalainen gets a bit of a tag coming out of turn 2 and loses a couple of places. So he was about 4th or 5th. In fact, he somehow scrambles it back together, and he's making that a very wide kart. But here, Konstantin Scholl, you can see in 2nd place, Slavinsky in 3rd position, Kevin Ludi in 4th place. Then it's Villevalainen somehow hanging on to 5th place despite his moment on the grass coming out of turn 2. Although that might not be for long, because he comes under attack now and loses a place, loses 2. So Villevalainen might lose 3, in fact, as he comes out of turn 6. Having a bit of a scrappy start to the race here, the Finnish driver. Another one going wide there in the background, all the way onto the grass, disappearing off picture and cutting back onto the track, losing a load of places as well, as Konstantin Scholl tries desperately to hang onto his inside line and to hold on to 2nd place, which he just about does. Konstantin Scholl on the podium here last weekend in the X30 Championship, so familiar with the circuit this weekend. Look at the lead, though, that Frank Katchar has us into 2nd place. Goes Janis Slavinsky. They were side by side over the start-finish line, but Slavinsky had the better line going into turn 1. So it's the Polish driver into 2nd place, and there's a big pile-up down at turn 2. We lost 2 karts in the wrong direction. Another one was heavily delayed in all of that, and that's from inside the top 10. So we lost a ton of drivers there. They've all got going again, bar one, I think, who is stuck, stranded down at turn 1. So yellow flag's waving, sorry, at turn 2. So yellow flag's waving down there as we look at our 2nd, 3rd, 4th place battle. But at the end of the first lap of the race, Janis Slavinsky, 2.4 seconds clear. Right, so drivers tumbling down the order. So that was in and around 6th place as well. So Harold Garkaklis has come through to 5th place. Villevalainen's back up to 6th. Barry Pullinger up to 7th place. And then recovering up to 8th position now It's Cosimo Durante, the Italian. Sam Smelt's come up to 8th as well. Up into the top 10. Michael Cool's up into the top 10. Aaron Sherlock's just dropped back to 13th place. Maybe one of the drivers delayed in that incident. And down to 22nd place has gone number 636, which was one of the drivers, I think, that heavily involved in that incident at turn 2. And as the yellow flags come back in, the second, third, fourth place battle goes through. Down into turn 3, Konstantin Scholl lines up a move to get second place back at the hairpin. And now, Giannis Slavinsky runs a bit deep into the corner, so Kevin Ludi alongside him. They're through here at Brest almost. Giannis Slavinsky tries to fight back down the inside into turn 4, but Scholl holds him off. So it's Scholl second, Slavinsky third, Kevin Ludi fourth. They're well clear of the rest of the pack now, with Villevalainen fifth, Durante in sixth. Sam Smelt's come up to 7th place now, Barry Pullinger 8th. They both got ahead of Harold Skarkaklis in 9th place. And then in 10th place is the 631 kart of Raul Lavian Abascal. So we've got 2.5 laps under our belts. We've already got a 3-second lead for the pole sitter, Frank Kanchar, who just got a great start, left them all well behind them. And as they all squabbled on the first lap, he just got on with it. And Frank Kanchar, he's almost in the next county now. He's down at turn 2 as they come out of turn 1. So he's just got to cruise control, really. Bring it home and not have any dramas. Now, Kevin Ludi has fallen off that group in second place, hasn't he? Slavinsky back into second place. Third place for Scholl. And Kevin Ludi has just lost a bit of touch with them, but down the inside to get the place back. Back into second comes Konstantin Scholl. Good move that under brakes into turn 4. Slavinsky and then Ludi coming back at them a little bit. Villevalainen and then Cosimo Durante running together in 5th and 6th positions, with Sam Smelt not far behind them in the number 696 kart. Pullinger still 8th. And Ludi goes 3rd now in that sector. So through he goes to gain a place and moves ahead of Slavinsky. There they are. And Scholl, in fact, has dropped behind both of them. So Kevin Ludi's come up to 2nd place now. Slavinsky into 3rd. Forwards 1, backwards 1. Konstantin Scholl to the back of the group in 4th place. There he is, head down with the yellow helmet on. Villevalainen with the white helmet on, trying to close the gap in 5th position to Kevin Ludi, who was a long way back a lap ago. Suddenly sneaks through and gets not just 1 but 2 places up to 2nd position. Giannis Slavinsky coming back at him into the hairpin at turn 3, and through he goes to go into 2nd place now. Konstantin Scholl already fighting back, and all of this is allowing the race leader Frank Kanchar to just stroll away. He's pulled another 8 or 9 tenths of a second on that lap to lead by nearly 4 seconds now into turn 6, which is one of the favourite overtaking spots they go, but Kevin Ludi's not quite close enough to Slavinsky to get his 2nd place back here. Into the right-hander at turn 7, you can't really overtake, nor into turn 8 really, so you have to be patient through the last sector and just try and build up a good momentum coming into the final turn. Flat out through turn 10, flat out down the start-finish straight, flat out through turn 1. Just about for these DD2 karts. Certainly for junior and senior it's flat out, easy flat out. For DD2 it's a bit more hairy, maybe a little lift depending on how your tyres are holding up. But it's something like 20 seconds full throttle at the end of the lap and the start of the next. We're at the halfway mark now. 5 laps have been complete, and still 2nd, 3rd and 4th positions running within half a second of each other. Kevin Ludi gets a good run out of turn 2, closes the gap into turn 3. Konstantin Scholl has just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's back with them now. So 3 it is for 2nd place, and Villevalainen has got company as well, with Cosimo Durante and Sam Smelt breathing down his neck. So we've got 3 fighting for 2nd, and we've got 3 of them fighting for 5th place as well, just there in the background you can see. But we've got Giannis Slavinsky, Kevin Ludi and Konstantin Scholl all matching each other's pace. There is Frank Kanchar, just to remind you he's still in the race. He's just so far clear that he's in a world of his own, really. In terms of the Masters, Martin Pearce is 13th, and in 14th place is Slavomir Moransky. So those two have switched around. Martin Pearce just ahead of Moransky. Those two well clear of Christoph Adams, making a welcome return to Euro Challenge racing. He was racing in Peru, I think, last weekend, he said. Racing, trying to get a ticket for the grand finals. The winner of the race got a ticket and he finished 2nd. He just missed out. But Christoph back in action, having had a nasty tumble off a roof. Part of his job, he fell off a roof and broke 5 ribs earlier this season. So he missed the first round in Belgium. He wasn't well enough really to race in Italy because it's a very bumpy circuit. So he was advised not to. And this is his first run in the Euro Challenge this year, Christoph Adams, the former Masters champion. And still with a smile on his face, though. Very much loves life, does Christoph Adams. But here is the battle for second place. Tighter than ever at 2/3 race distance. Still 2.8 seconds behind the race leader. The gap's come down a bit, but you feel that probably Frank Canchar is just taking it easy. There's no need to push on. He can save a bit of life in his tyres. You are limited to a couple of sets of tyres for the races, and he can save some life in the engine and energy in himself as well here. He doesn't need to push on because look how far clear he is as he goes over the start-finish line with 2 laps to go. Frank Canchar, 2.5 seconds clear, so the gap's come down again, but he's still got this mammoth lead. And behind, Villavalainen has pulled away now from Cosimo Durante for 5th place. Sam Smelt is still 7th. Barry Pullinger 8th. And then in 9th place, Raul Abascal Lavin. 10th position, Aaron Sherlock. Because Bartosuk has come through to 11th place now, the championship leader, so he's gained a few. Garkaklis is 12th. Philip Sewers just come up to 13th ahead of Biffinger. And what's happened then to Martin Pearce? Off camera, Martin Pearce and Slavomir Moransky, the top 2 in the Masters, have tumbled down the order. So Christoph Adams is suddenly the leading Masters driver, up in 15th place. So there's obviously been a drama somewhere. Is that turn 6, 2 karts off the circuit, and with no signs of the drivers getting back in. So bad news for the top 2 qualifiers in the Masters division. Didn't see what happened, but looks like they're both out of contention. As onto the last lap of the race goes our leader, Frank Canchar, looking for his first win this season, if he can win the final tomorrow. In fact, he'll be looking for his first podium. His best result so far has been a 5th place finish in the final in Belgium. He might have finished higher in Italy, but for a penalty, which he wasn't too happy about. But he's been consistently scoring points and he's still in the mix. Now, half a lap to go, and Stani Slavinsky has got really close company. He's had it for a while, but Kevin Ludi looking a bit more threatening now. Kevin, though, has got to make sure he doesn't give his own place up to Konstantin Scholl. 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Kevin Ludi's going down the inside, having a look at least. But no, he's not close enough. And it's all he can do to keep Konstantin Scholl behind him. So Scholl having a big look here as they go to turn 7. They're wheel to wheel, going into the right-hander at turn 8. But Kevin Ludi fends him off. It's all allowed Giannis Slavinsky to get away from them. So Ludi's going to be 3rd. We have got them coming into the last corner. We've got the checkered flag ready. We've got Frank Canchar about to win the first race of the day in seniors. That's as big a margin as you'll see in kart racing. Canchar wins. 2nd place to Slavinsky. 3rd and 4th together over the line. But it's Kevin Ludi that hangs on to 3rd place by 64 thousandths of a second in the first DD2 race of the day. Villavalainen survives a bit of a rough and tumble first lap to come home in 5th place. Cosimo Durante continues his good work in 6th position. Sam Smelt crosses the line in 7th place. Then it's Abascal Lavin in 8th. Sherlock in 9th. Barry Pullinger gains 5 places to finish in 10th position. And Lucas Bartosuk, the championship leader, gains 6 places to move up to 11th. So steady progress, not lightning progress, but at least he moved forward. And if he can get in the top 10 in 3 of the heats, then he'll be fairly high up the grid for the pre-final. Frank Canchar for VPDR, then the race winner by 2.2 seconds from Giannis Slavinsky for Dan Holland Racing. Kevin Ludi 3rd for Spirit Racing. Konstantin Scholl for Dams Racing in 4th. Villavalainen in 5th place. And Cosimo Durante rounding out the top 6. Thanks to the rest of the runners. Michael Kuhl there in 13th for Move On Power. And in terms of the Masters drivers, Martin Pearce, Richard Faulkner and Christoph Adams all tumbled down the order in the end. So in the end, it was Everybides Haji Stefanis down in 20th place. That was the top Masters driver. Aloskins just behind him in 21st place as the 2nd best Master. So trouble for the Masters drivers. No trouble at all though for Frank Canchar, who wins the race from Giannis Slavinsky and Kevin